Okay, guys, today is a controversial topic. Okay. Before I start that, let me introduce myself. My name is Anne Marie Brown. I'm the founder and CEO of SNL Organics. And today's topic is drum roll. Nobody come on here with no nonsense either, commenting nothing ridiculous. Choosing the right spouse for business. Now, what do I mean about this? Your spouse, the person you choose for marriage, can either grow you in business, your endeavors, your dreams, all your goals, or they can bring you down. It's so important. I've heard so many times people say, oh, well, all you have to have is love. And that is not true. That is not true. You got to pick someone who's compatible in business. Now, my husband's giving me like the side eye. But it's the truth. You have to pick the right person that is compatible for your business dreams or goals or endeavors. A lot of spouses I know, or I've heard stories about, let's say, a husband. He has a dream. He wants to own his own plumbing company, but he is a lawyer, and his wife doesn't feel that he needs to leave his secure job, that he went to school with all that education for, to go in business. Or you have a wife, and she is good at cooking, but she has a great job as a nurse, and she brings it to her husband's attention that, she wants to start her own cooking business. And he thinks it's like a bunch of crap. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you want to leave the amount of money you make as a nurse to have a cooking business? And where you're going to cook and all of this, all of the nonsense. Many times we have to understand that if you want to be a certain place in life, or reach or thrive and go to a certain place in life, your spouse can hinder you. They can really hinder you, and they can make you feel trapped, because what God really intends for you to be could only truly stay dormant for so long with a person who is ambitious without it eating away at them when they cannot achieve it. And so, like, for me personally, I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for like 10, 15 years. And meeting my husband, who was an accountant. Now, we're going to give you a little back history. When I met my husband was making a little bit over $30,000. Was it a little bit over $30,000? And when we got married in 2012. By 2013, I had a baby. Okay, I had my first daughter, Sage. And in that process, when it was coming time for me to give birth to Sage, my husband had told me, he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to kind of stay home for 6 months to raise Sage, And he said, okay. And I was thinking in my mind, like, what? You're just going to say okay like that? And he was like, I'll figure it out. That is when my husband started his side hustle, really started to take it serious, his transparency services. And pretty much transparency services is to make businesses transparent so you can start making some money. Okay, back to what we're talking about. Okay, and when he said that to me, like, I was a little bit scared, and I, as a spouse, was not as supportive to him in his dream. There were times when I kind of even gave him a little lip about it too, like, why don't you just go ahead and get a better job in accounting? Why you want to go with this transparency services thing? And it turned around to slap me in my face, because I think that year or the year after, he made over $100,000 in his side business, But and I at that time was like the negative downer, Debbie Downer. I was like that negative spouse who did not see his dream fully, who could not realize this dream and know that God had more in store for him. Now, vice versa. 3 years after that, I'm pregnant with my son. I'm pregnant with Remnant. And my husband turns to me, who, by the way, encouraged me to start my hair business. He turns to me and says to a registered nurse, who's been a registered nurse since she was like 25, 26. He told me to leave nursing. He told me to focus on a dream that he's seen in me. You see what a good spouse does? A good spouse is able to see something in you that you can't even see in yourself. When Naquan saw in me that I had the capability to own my own hair care company, start off my own business, he was the aggressor in it. He was the one pushing me. As a matter of fact, I didn't even want nothing to do with it because I started selling hair products in nursing school. I was selling my first product, remember the pre-poo? I was selling the pre-poo in nursing school. And it was a lot of work mixing pre-poo. And he was like, you know, Amory, when we got married, I think you should go back into it. And I was like, no, like I was ready. I was doing my little vintage, although I wasn't really selling much clothes in my vintage line. I was making little children products, making hair accessories. I didn't want nothing to do with no mixing no more hair products. I was just sick of it, right? I didn't want to mix nothing. I didn't want to deal with no natural ingredients. But he saw it in me and he pushed me down this road. He pushed me and he kept on standing behind me, encouraging me. I have been gifted all my life with so many different gifts. And I am the type of person who I'm over here one day, I'm over here the next day. I'm over here one day, I'm over here the next day. I'm good at this, I'm good at that, so I'm just all over the place. But my husband was like the one who was like, okay, Amory, you need to just focus on this. I think you need to spend time and develop this and make this grow and establish it. And so that's why I'm here today, where I am in this business, all because of him. And why I believe he was the good spouse. He is the good spouse. He is the good husband. Because another man would have been like, you want to make what? Hair products. What? Girl, you better go to work tonight, get on that night shift. You better bring home that paycheck from your RN. We need this money. He told me to leave my job when we had 3 kids. And his income at that time when we had 3 kids was like a little bit going on to 50, 60. It was not even where he ended up being in his career as an accountant. And so you need a good spouse because there's a lot of good men out there. Wives, listen to me. A lot of your husband could have been far established in their dream, but it's because of you. And I'm talking to me, I'm not just talking to you. It was because of me. You understand? Not seeing his vision, not seeing his dream, not understanding that God had something more in store than that accountant job for him. Nothing's wrong with accounting, but you know, you can't stand in the way of your husband's dream and his progression in life because you can't see the bigger picture. You have to understand that God has called him to lead. Wives, husbands, sometimes your wife, she knows she can cook. She don't need you to confirm it. You eat her food. She knows she can cook. She knows she can throw that in the kitchen. But you don't want her to go ahead and have that cooking business. You don't want her to go ahead and have that, make fabulous clothes for people when that's her gift. You're so used to her working that 9 to 5, you can't see outside of it. So you sabotage in sneaky ways. Let me tell you how spouses sabotage in sneaky ways. You know for a fact, if they're working 9 to 5, they're going to need some extra time. Especially this is definitely for both spouses. They're going to need some time to develop that gift. But instead of helping out in areas in the home and on the front, you know, helping out more in the work front, you're so down on them or always at their necks with when you gonna find time to go cook, cater for this person. When you gonna find time to go cater for Michelle's baby shower, when you gotta take care of Shelly Ann and Billy. You don't even be there for them to kind of like help out so that they can now progress and establish that gift and talent. And God knows our heart. So he knows when we're doing that. You know, when my husband wanted to spend time going through, like, you know, fixing website and stuff like that, I used to be at his neck like, you still at the computer? You know, he was doing it after work time, because when you're working and you have a side hustle, or you have your passion, which is your side hustle for most people, right? You're gonna have to find time, but you know, that spouse could be all in their ear, all in your ear, that you can't even focus and develop it. Or when they finally get a gig, or they finally get something, let's say they got that, let's say your wife got that catering for someone's baby shower, and she needs you to help her drive the ingredients and the food over there. But you don't want to. You don't want to because you can't see her dreams. So you're like, well, if you took that on, you needed to deal with that for yourself. And there's a lot of men and women who does that. If their spouse need them to, okay, they got into something, they said they're gonna sew 10 robes for the choir, but the wife need the husband now to run out and buy some fabric. He can't do it, he's watching football. And football becomes more important than your spouse's dream. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that, girls. Don't do that, husbands. Don't do that, wives. And that's why if you're not married, listen, pick a spouse, not just for love. Pick a spouse where you see yourself one day being. You need to sit down and count the cost. Count the cost in everything. Count the cost in how you're compatible with them, in terms of the way you communicate. Count the cost in everything, even up to where you see yourself financially and where you one day be. Not that circumstances and crises won't happen and you can lose everything. But let me tell you something. You can lose everything, and with a good spouse, you can gain it back. You can gain it back. But with a bad spouse, with a person who's not ambitious, with a person who have like I don't care attitude and will watch the entire family and home sink, that's a bad place to be. Husbands and wives, that's a bad place to be. My husband, I thank God for him, because you know what? My husband has a mentality that he doesn't give up easily. And if Naquan, let's say Naquan had lost his job as an accountant, let's say he got fired, Naquan would be working for McDonald's, Wendy's, and Chipotle, honey, okay? And there's no shame in his game to make sure he's taking care of his family. And that's the same mentality he has in business. Naquan is going to push himself to the limit to make sure his business succeeds. I am the same way, and that's why we are the perfect match. And days that he is down, I'm there now. I've learned to back him up. I have to learn wise. Sometimes you got to learn wise, and husbands, sometimes you have to learn too. So my point is, ladies and gentlemen, pick spouses, wives, husband, pick a spouse that is going to help you build, that's going to help build you in the next level, in business, in family life, in life in general. Don't just talk about love, 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 because love don't make it through. A lot of people started off loving each other and they divorced, okay? Because love is not the end or be all, unless it's the love that Christ has. Because if you love like Christ loved, you will submit to one another. That's where the submitting comes. So unless you talk about that love, I don't want to hear about no love. Okay, I want to hear about, look at these qualities that this individual has and see if it's compatible with you. See if you're aggressive about life and you want to achieve. See if they're the laid back type of person who really don't care about nothing. And if you just want a simple life, if you're a woman or a guy who just want a simple life, do not marry somebody like me, okay? Because I'm an assertive type A personality, and I will nag you till you get your life together, get your whole life right, okay? If you want just a laid back type of life, marry a laid back type of person. Marry that type of person so you don't be in hell either, because you're unhappy because every time they got a new vision and plan and they got a new idea and concept, you will drive yourself nuts. So you have to, either way, both of you got to know yourselves. Either way. Okay, I know I have talked too long. I hope this video helps. The next person who's about to get married, you're going to sit and think and count the cost and see if you need to be married to that type of person. Love you. God bless you. And I can't wait to see you again. And remember, if anything I shared here, if you feel that it has touched a chord, it was a helpful piece of information, share us and subscribe and like our videos, okay? Love you. Be blessed, my beauties. Bye-bye.